Greetings everyone, Slizzle466 here, and in today's video we're looking at some of the best wild Darkmoon Faire decks to climb with for the third week of the expansion. We start off with Odd Demon Hunter by White Delight. So Odd Demon Hunter, it's been determined that the best way you're going to run it is to have a ridiculous number of 1-drops. In this case we have 24 in this list, and then you take advantage of cards such as Stilt Stepper. This specific list is not running acrobatics, though some do, but you've also got the extra clear thanks to Dreadlord's Bite, Mage Hunter just to give you some extra silence on top of your consume magic to deal with big taunt minions, and just a very fast aggressive deck with a ton of burst. Looking at Druid, we have Malygos Druid by Cream Puff. It's the Malygos Druid we're all used to expecting. There's nothing particularly fancy about it, but it's really good into Priest and into Warlocks. If you'd like something a little bit more aggressive, you can try Aggro Druid by Otters. It's a full-on face deck. It's going to flop sometimes if you don't draw your Embiggens and your 1-drops, but the games are so fast it just doesn't matter. It's very efficient to climb the ladder with this deck. We've got a lot of mage to look at. First of all, looking at Evil Devil's Reno Secret Mage. So Reno Secret Mage is a new archetype that is seeing much more play with the Darkmoon Faire expansion. And that's because mages receive cards such as Game Master, as well as Inconspicuous Rider, Rigged Fair Game, Occult Conjurer, Sage, Seer of Darkmoon. So just lots of synergies to help secret-based mages. And so although Secret Mage is still a good archetype, you've now also got Reno Secret Mage. Looking at Quest Mage, so we have Quest Mage by Fumax. This is pretty much the same Quest Mage we're used to seeing. You'll notice there's no evocation in this list, but there is a Stargazer Luna to help you with some extra draw. And so this deck does flop really hard to aggro, but it really does well against slower decks such as Big Priest, slow Warlock decks. Secret Mage, this is a list that I featured previously by Ratto. It's running the Sage, Seer of the Darkmoon. Most players have determined at this point that in fact it is better than Alaneth to run. You've also got the Occult Conjurers to give you some board presence. You've got Rigged Fair Game for card draw, and just a very powerful list to climb with. The last mage list to look at is a Reno Luna's Pocket Galaxy mage list. Just be careful of these lists because they're not for everyone, and they're typically designed by a pilot in a specific meta. So do tech accordingly. You'll see there's a Galaka in here for pirates. It's running the Sir Finley Murgleton Grizzled Wizard combo as a tech against Reno Priest. But otherwise, it's just a value-oriented deck, not too greedy, and something you might want to give a bit of a try. Looking at Paladin, not too much to talk about. You've just got your stock-of-the-mill Odd Paladin. I still prefer this list with a light pirate package. You might prefer a non-pirate list, but whether it's this list or something similar with 3 or 4 cards, it's the best way to climb with Paladin. Looking at Priest, we have Reno Priest. This list is by KekW, the player, not the emote. And it's just the Reno Priest we're used to seeing by now. This list is running a Godless Ooze as well as a Mindrender Elucia, which you don't always see. There's also a Shadow Word Ruin in here, which is a nice tech against Darkglare Warlock. But otherwise, it's Reno deck, it's Reno Priest, it's ridiculously powerful, and once you learn the deck, you'll just fly up the ladder. Big Priest has also made a comeback. Big Priest is officially back. It probably sits in around the Tier 2, Tier 3 range, and it got its power buffed up because of palm reading to help get things going a little faster, as well as Blood of Gahun, which is just a ridiculous card and has resulted in your charge being cut from most Big Priest lists. Looking at Rogue, I'm happy to say that I have an odd Rogue list to report, And this is a list that is very fine-tuned to something I would like to play. So it's running the Swashbucklers because I love the random burgle effects. It's got the one Thief for the random mage spells. It's got one Beneath the Grounds and one Ticketmaster, which is kind of cute. So I just really like how Ticketmaster is in the deck. Actually, sorry, two Ticketmasters. You've also got a bit of a light weapon buff approach. So you've got your Deadly Poisons, you've got your Cutting Class, you've got your Dr. Krastenov. And then I like the single Vile Spine Slayer. It's nice. Just really fun odd rogue build to ladder with, and you'll find it has a ton of value for an aggro deck. If you want something even faster, you can go with Kingsbane Rogue by Otters. This list is running double sap to help against Big Priest and slow Warlocks and just taunts in general. Kingsbane did get some extra power in the form of Foxy Fraud and Swindle. So Kingsbane Rogue, incredibly powerful deck to climb with. Looking at Warlock, we've got quite a few, starting with Reno Warlock. This is the list by King's Bounty that I've featured in the past. I just think this is a very sensible list. It's not too greedy. I'm still not the biggest fan of the Ticketus because it does have the Demon tag, which is bad with your Voidcaller and your Blood River Gul'dan. But it's fun to make your opponent mad when it works, and when you combine it with Brand Bronzebeard, it's just a fun little thing to have in the deck, but definitely not necessary. Darkglare Warlock, I mean, it's Darkglare Warlock. It is the aggro deck to play in this meta. It is difficult to play this, so it does have a learning curve, but once you figure it out, you will just slam people with 8/8 giants like there's no tomorrow. And the last Warlock list to look at is a Cube Warlock list. There is nothing particularly special about this list, but I do like the double Dirty Rats. It's got a little bit of greed with the Expired Merchant. There's also a Canvathad Ibnlock in here, which you don't always see it in Cube Lock. But, you know, you got Void Callers, you've got Void Lords, you got Skull of the Minari. As long as you cheat that stuff out, the rest is just whatever. Looking at Warrior, we've got Galakron Warrior by Memnarch, which is a list I featured in the past. I think this is a sleeper, one of the most powerful decks in Wild, but people don't play it. Maybe they're a little scared of it. The Ringmaster Watley is actually really important, but maybe hold off on crafting it if you really don't want to, but it is a really valuable asset to have in the deck. And one of the reasons you want to play this is to counter Reno Priest and Darkglare, because you throw a bunch of bombs in their deck and they draw them and die, or they can't, or for the Reno Priest case, they can't play their Highlander cards. Pirate Warrior, this is the list I hit Legend with on the 3rd or 4th of the month, I can't remember. But I specifically really like this list. It's more of an anti-aggro build of Pirate Warrior though, so you'll notice that there is no Wrench Caliber in here, and instead we're seeing the Sword Eater. 4 mana 2/5 pirate with taunt, battlecry, equip a 3/2 sword. Turns out this card's pretty good. You consider Fiery War Axe as a 3 mana 3/2 weapon. You're paying an extra 1 mana for a 2/5 taunt pirate, so that's pretty good value. And finally, we have Odd Warrior. If you want to put yourself to sleep while playing Hearthstone, this is the deck to do it. It's got, I mean, it's Odd Warrior. It preys on aggro decks. It also has the Cold Light Oracle and the Brand to give you a chance against Reno Priest. But otherwise, this is one of many ways you can go with Odd Warrior. I also like the Dr. Boom Mad Genius because Odd Warrior doesn't really have a finisher. So it's nice to have that in there. You will notice that there were no Hunter lists and there were no Shaman lists in this video. Hunter's in a pretty awful spot right now. Sorry, Hunter fans. And similar thing with Shaman. Shamans just didn't get anything useful. So maybe in another video we'll see those classes pop in. But for now, maybe complete your quest in casual or something for those classes. If you'd like to try any of these decks, you'll find all the deck codes in the description below. If you'd like to support this channel, you can click the subscribe button, click that bell, and until next time, hope to see you again.